Greetings, YouTube. I haven't seen Logan, and I may get around to it someday. I don't imagine myself seeing it in theaters, and I'll probably wait till it becomes very cheap on DVD or Blu-ray. Um, but I am familiar with the X23 character from the comic. I read the original 3 or 4 issue miniseries that had been launched. A friend of mine had them, and I borrowed them. And I quite like the idea of this clone, essentially, this gender swapped clone of Logan being raised in this lab environment and becoming this trained assassin at like age 12 or 13, something like that. Um, and it was well executed, and I get it, executed assassin. Um, but I did enjoy it. It was cool. But one thing has confused me, and it came to mind after having seen both of the trailers for Logan. If X23, I don't know the character's name from the film, I don't remember what they called her, is somewhere between 11 and 13 years old and has become essentially a mini version of Logan, has adamantium laced bones and has the adamantium laced claws. Um, Hers are 2 at the hands and 1 at the foot. I think that's how that works. How does she grow? The bones are laced in adamantium. That isn't going to allow bone growth. And yet we know from the comics that she is of normal human height as an adult. How did that happen? Now, I am aware that comic logic is often nebulous at best. It's very flexible, very fuzzy. Handwavium is the most common element in all of the comic universes. Um, doesn't matter who owns the property. But that seems to be a pretty glaring problem to me, even in a world where handwavium is as common as carbon. I mean, it makes sense in Logan because he was an adult when he underwent that procedure, so he had no longer stopped growing, though he was only, remember, Logan's only 5'3" or so in the comic, even though Hugh Jackman is a good 11 inches taller than that. No, more than that. He's 6'4", isn't he? Is he 6'4"? He's 13 inches taller than that? I don't know, but he's much taller than the character's supposed to be. Um, and I just that bugs me that they do that and the character should never get any larger, and she does. Now, I think it would be more fascinating if she stayed that size but kept aging. That would be fascinating. That would be making an interesting character, because now you've locked the person in that size, even though they biologically continue to develop. Um, but they don't ever get any taller because they can't, or their body tries to with detrimental effects. Now that could be interesting. Um, Maybe she has to have Magneto strip her bone so she can grow, but they put the treatment back in at a later date. Who knows? But it's just a random thought that came into my head. That another one of those things that we don't think about because we love our comic characters more than we love any kind of something that even vaguely resembles sense. So tell me, is it explained in the comic books? Is it explained in the film? Or is it just something that everybody ignores?